for the month of December 2023. Heidi, could you call the roll, please?
Yes, Christine Brochu,
Here.
Ellen Cornell,
She is, I would say absent without cause. I'm absent with cause, excuse me. She's trying to get here from East Providence. So.
See you tomorrow.
Thomas Callahan,
Present.
Keith Kyle,
Yes.
Christopher Allman,
Here.
Anthony Bernetti,
Here.
James Manning.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have 6 members present. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Heidi. All right, so we've got some administrative matters we've got to take care of first, and then I'll go through the agenda. The first is the approval of the proposed 2024 meeting dates. What is the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the dates as presented.
Second that.
A motion been made and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that motion carries 6-0. All right. Next is approval of the meeting minutes from November 16th, 2023. What is the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I move their adoption. Second. Second.
Keith seconded that. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that motion carries 6-0. Okay, so this evening, we've got some deferrals. Not everything that is on the agenda is going to be heard. So first of all, not all properties, it's an appeal of the building official. My understanding is that we're going to move that to a date certain of January 18th. Mr. Zangari?
That's certainly fine, Mr. Chairman. Just so you know, I'll let the board know, we've been in some extensive, Mr. Surdet's here, he's representing the applicant. We've had some extensive discussions about a possible resolution. I've talked to the solicitor about those possibilities, and without going into detail, those possibilities and resolutions would have to be approved by the town council. So we need a little time to get it to them, they can digest it, and then make their determination. If they agree, terrific, it's off your calendar. If not, we'll be back, we'll have our hearing, we'll have our witnesses, we'll present our case.
Okay, so will the 18th of January work?
I believe so. Can you?
Yes, it'll work for me as long as you have time to speak to council.
We will, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So Chair would entertain a motion that we move not all the appeal to January 18th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Tom.
a question for Mr. Marcello. At our last meeting on this issue, you mentioned that there was a requirement that we could not have this in a January meeting.
Well, correct,
Because
unless,
there was
but that,
because we needed to have.
but
this in.
both parties had agreed, if both parties had agreed, then we can't continue it in both parties. At that point, it was just the applicant requesting a continuance.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that motion carries 6-0. Okay, in regards to Stanton, Mr. Surdet, you're looking for this would be your second deferral on this.
Yes, it is, Mr. Chairman, and the reason for this is while, in speaking to staff, we were, with this short window from the last meeting to this meeting, as well as all the other things that staff had to do in town, staff didn't have an opportunity to weigh in or review the new materials that we submitted to the board. So while I know the board has had them approximately a week or so, in speaking to staff, meeting with them, I didn't want to be in a position where staff hadn't had an opportunity to truly vet those out and be able to correspond with the board and speak to those new changes without giving them time to review it. So that's the reason for my request.
Okay, so this will put you to a date certain of February 22nd.
If the board prefers that over January, so be it. We'd
Well,
be happy to come back in January.
Rules of the road that we have.
Understood.
Following.
Understood.
Okay. So Chair would entertain a motion that we move Stanton to February 22nd,
So
2024.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion carries 6-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
You're welcome, Mr. Smith. Have a good evening. And finally, Eastside LLC will not be heard tonight due to a notification issue, I believe.
Correct.
Correct. So Chair would entertain a motion that we move that to a date certain of January 18th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that motion carries 6-0. So if you're here for any of those three hearings, they will not be heard this evening. So we'll go right to the first public hearing. It's Doherty, Plat N-S, Lot 228, located at 145 Colonel John Gardner Road. Good evening, Mr. Kramer.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. All right. We presented this as required under your statutory scheme to the planning board, and we got an unfavorable recommendation to you folks from that. I say that first. Why would I say the worst thing first? Because we listened to them, and we went back, and the application that's going to be presented before you tonight has been modified, having listened to them, for the least relief necessary. And we believe that we've accomplished that. So we've got a project here. I'll introduce what we're asking for, and then I'll have my expert, Mr. Calderon, come up and explain the details to you. First of all, it's a garage. There's no garage on this property right now. Mr. Doherty's looking for a place to park a vehicle and also to store lawnmowers and those types of things that in the front part. This proposed building was originally proposed 24 by 24. It's now going to be 12 by 24. So it's literally going to be only a single car that would be able to be parked in there. We've also added additional parking so that we've reduced the size of this building such that our original request of a variance on the rear lot line from a 15-foot request to a 13-foot request. And just if not more importantly, the lot coverage, 25%, which is the ordinance here in Narragansett. We originally were asking for 27.2. We now have it down to 26.5. And lastly, we have taken out a lot of the driveway asphalt, impervious, and we're going to replace it with pervious parking areas so that drainage will be maximized. And I believe that we would have accomplished the accomplishment. Oh, by the way, the lot cover. Well, I'll leave that to you. I'll leave it for the 464.3. We reduced the lot coverage substantially as well, but he'll give you the explanation. Okay. So without further ado, if there's any, I'll be available to answer any of your questions at the end of the presentation. Mr. Calderon is going to explain what we did do in our original application and how we modified it after we heard from the planning board.
Thank you, Mr. Prater.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Please raise your right hand.
Yep.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and spell your last.
James Calderon, Caldarone.
Thank you.
Jim Calderon, professional land surveyor, owner of South County Survey Company. Mr. Craven hit most of our points, but I'll just go into the details a little bit more. The last application that was before the planning board was a 14 by 24 garage. That totaled 336 square feet. Like you said, we've rethought that and since reduced it to the minimum that will work for a one-car garage to 12 by 24, which is 288 square feet. We're placing this on the driveway, on the asphalt driveway, and we've also since removed all of the asphalt that's around the garage and behind it, which is going to be 484.2 square feet of impervious surface to be removed. So that brings the hardscape and impervious calculations down for the lot. We've also increased the width of the driveway by a foot in front of the garage to accommodate for 2 cars at 200 square feet apiece per the ordinance. 3rd parking spaces in the garage. And let's see, I think you already hit on this, but lastly, we were asking for 5 feet off the property, off the rear property line where the rear setback is 20 feet, which was a variance of 15 feet, and has now been reduced to 7 feet off the property line or a variance of 13 feet. That's it. We've covered everything else. Of course, lot building coverage was once proposed to be 26.5%, is now proposed to be 27 point. I'm sorry, was once proposed to be 27.2%, is now proposed to be 26.5%.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Did you guys resolve the height question? At the garage, staff couldn't confirm the height of the garage?
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't aware of that question. If it's not on the detail, I wouldn't be able to answer it right now, but I'm not sure. It may be on the detail.
Well, I think there was several that came through.
Yeah. Is it not on there?
Well, it's regardless, it'll have to meet code, which is 18 feet, Wayne?
Right. It's certainly less than 18, but I can't tell you exactly what the height is right now.
Yeah.
And
That's what it is right there.
yeah, and for what it's worth, I know this came up last time, those are just skids for transportation. If we're wondering if that needed to be modified or what the deal with that was, it's certainly just for transportation delivery.
Mr. Calderon, just so that we can cover a point that we would have to address in granting this variance, can you just put on the record evidence as to why this is really the only location to put this particular garage, given the unique circumstances or characteristics of this
Yeah,
lot?
absolutely, yeah. Due to the unique circumstances or characteristics of the lot shape, and then the house placement, the house shape, and then the house placement on the lot, this is the only place that makes sense to put a garage. You could ask for a variance to put it in the front, we'd be asking for more of a variance, and nobody wants a garage in front of the house. So yes, due to the unique characteristics of the lot, this is the only reasonable place.
Mr. Calderon, you
Yes.
may or may not be able to answer this.
Yep.
I'm sure Mr. Craven can.
Okay.
Your client did not construct this house,
That's correct.
so it was purchased in this position, it was located
That's
where
correct.
it is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So there's no responsibility on their part for the
Yeah, the placement of the house in the lot.
placement of the house on the lot.
That's
Okay.
correct, yep. Yes.
It's interesting, I don't know. Must have been trying to achieve a view.
I assume that's the case, yeah.
Hmm.
For what it's worth, if the front of the house were considered to be Burbank Ave, this would be a side setback, and we'd be asking for 3 feet of relief
Yeah.
instead of, yes.
Are there any further questions from Mr. Calderon? Don, you got anything?
Nope, I'm good.
Mr. Craven, if you'd like to add anything at this time?
No, just that we're asking for a 13-foot variance on the rear setback and from 1.2, 1.5%.
1.5%.
Additional lot coverage.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Is there anyone that would like to speak in favor of this, excuse me, proposal? All right, is there anyone who is opposed that would like to speak? All right. Chair would entertain a motion that we close this public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries 5-0. What is the board's pleasure?
Chairman, members of the board, with respect to project summary, Doherty, tax assessors, plat NS, lot 228, located on Colonel John Gardner Road. I would like to make the following findings of fact. The applicant had their attorney, Craven, make a presentation to the board with respect to the fact that they have decreased the relief that they're seeking from what the planning board had originally had some objection to, and explained the reasons for doing that. In addition, the applicant presented James Calderon, a professional surveyor, who testified that the size of the garage will be 12 by 24 feet, which is approximately 288 square feet. He also testified that they would be removing 482 square feet of impervious asphalt and replacing it with a pervious substrate, and they also are reducing the width of the driveway. There was also testimony that due to the unique geographical configuration of the house on this particular lot, that there is no other real practical place to place the applicant's garage. In addition, there was testimony that the configuration of the lot pre-existed the applicant's ownership of this lot. There were no proponents other than the witnesses that testified for the applicant, and there were no adverse witnesses.
Second.
A motion has been made and properly seconded to enter the findings of fact into the record. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion carries 5-0.
Chairman, members of the board, I would move to grant the applicant's request for relief, and that would be a 13-foot rear yard setback variance pursuant to section 6.4 of the zoning ordinance, as well as a lot coverage variance of 1.5%. There was, as I noted in my findings of fact, there was sufficient evidence presented that all of the standards are met for the granting of the requested relief, that is a variance. That the hardship which the applicant seeks relief is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land or structure, and not to the general characteristics of the surrounding area. It is not due to a physical or economic disability of the applicant. That the hardship is not the result of any prior action of the applicant and does not result primarily from the applicant's desire for greater financial gain. That the granting of the requested variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the zoning ordinance or the comprehensive plan of the town of Narragansett, upon which the zoning ordinance is based, and that this is the least relief necessary given the unique characteristics of this particular lot. Now I would move to that we grant the requested variances.
I'll second.
Yes, Joe?
Conditions?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. There are also set forth in the project summary conditions 2 through 6, which I'm assuming Attorney Craven, the client, is aware of and is agreeing to comply with.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'd include that in my my motion.
I'll amend my second.
A motion has been made and properly seconded to grant the relief requested with conditions. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion carries 5-0. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Have a nice holiday.
You too. Can we still say that? All right, next item. 192 Ocean Road LLC, Plat E, Lot 132-B, located at 192 Ocean Road. Good evening, Mr. McGreen.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. I opened this file in 1921. 2021, seems like 1921. Jack McGreen for the applicant. The applicants are Lynn and Min On, and they hold title to the property in the name of 92 Ocean Road Realty Trust. Property is located at 92 Ocean Road at the end of the seawall, and is identified as lot 132B, Assessors Plat E. The lot's a legal non-conforming lot located in an RA zone with a lot area of 15,819 square feet. The proposed improvements consist of removing of an existing rear yard deck, construction of a second floor, 22 feet by 8 foot open second floor deck, and construction of a 22 by 9 foot back pool with a spa and outdoor shower. Actually, as a result of this project, the hardscape coverage is being reduced by 1%, site coverage is being reduced by 5.2%, building coverage is being reduced by 3.7%, and the yard softscape is actually increasing by 5.5%. So everything's going in the right direction. The only thing we're looking for, it's a non-conforming lot, so the setback is 20 feet, and we're looking for 4 feet of relief off that back lot line in order to put a 9-foot in width pool along the back lot line. That being said, I have Marissa from Stephan Brothers to be sworn in, maybe walk you through the plan and answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and spell your last.
Marissa Navakowskis, Navakauskaskas.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chair. Thank
Good
you for
evening.
having us.
Bring up the floor plan,
Yeah, do you have the
the site plan.
site plan?
This
Is this,
is the site plan, is it
and
not?
then
Oh, yeah,
there's
there we go.
the, yeah,
Okay.
there. So our clients, as again, started this project in 21.
1921.
There's been change to the overlay district, so it allowed them to revisit the project, and with some modifications, they have represented to the town. What they would like to do is there's a proposed, there's an existing deck here, trying to outline, that they're going to remove to have a patio. There's an existing upper deck here that we are going to enlarge, which will not add because, again, it's above the new patio. And then they're proposing the pool, spa and pool here, and a undecided type of fire pit with a landscape plan. The clients have already reduced the size to try to get within conforming to this setback here. So the pool was reduced by, I think, three or 4 feet originally, and pushed closer to the house. And then
This project was probably one of the first applications to become before the board once that FAR came into effect.
Yep.
And so initially we were doing an addition, we had all sorts of hardscape, softscape, and we peeled this thing back like an onion over the last 2 years. So
yeah,
we're right down to improving all those issues like I went through, and we're looking for 4 feet
right,
on the back.
right here.
Yeah.
We've met with our local landscape contractor. Bayscapes will be the landscape company doing this. And as this is being raised, this right here is actually a retaining wall. And then there's a section of all tall arborvitaes here that are shared on the property line. And this was determined to be the best location by all parties to give both landowners privacy, while maintaining the trees, because the trees here give each of them privacy from one another, while still not being in the way of them enjoying the view of the cove. And that's really the simple.
Any questions?
Mr. McGreen, because this is in a overlay district, we're gonna have to make a specific finding with regard to how what you're proposing to do enhances the coastal feature? And your response to that would be?
Enhances the coastal feature? Let me
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
I know the plantings,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the hardscape, and all those reductions in hardscape and softscape are all going in the right direction. I mean, we have increased
so,
impervious,
Yep.
pervious areas, we've increased the softscape, we.
a lot more green space is being added.
Right.
And also that you don't see on here, so, there's in the front section here that goes down along to the wharf, all of the, impervious, non-native shrubs that have kind of crept into our area. There's actually a plan, by Bayscapes and the landscape architect to bring a lot more coastal, friendly shrubbery back in here that is favorable to the areas. So all along where they have this greenscape area, they're taking out things that aren't native to the area and putting things back in. It's not on this type of plan.
And they remove some of the impervious material and increase that front yard softscape by
Yep.
5.5%. So just overall, everything, when you see the chart up at the top there, everything went in the right direction.
Yeah, so all right here. So there's that big increase right there on the front softscape.
Jack, will this be going before coastal?
It will, yeah. We're not going any closer to the coastal features, so,
But you're within the 200.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to get the approval,
Mhm.
but I don't suspect that will be a problem, just because we're not, everything's going in the right direction, like I said, so.
And it does, it cleans up that area tremendously, the plan. I mean, everything is coming out over here to clean it up.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
Jack, I've got all these elevations, I don't know if you wanted to say anything about them here, but
Well, I know the rule is for every one, if you have a retaining wall, for every 1 foot up, you have to go 1 foot in, and this is well within that,
Yeah.
within that setback, so there's no relief needed for the wall.
I'm confident staff would have caught that.
yes.
Yeah,
So,
and that's the deck, so that's the new. But as Jeff said, a lot of the back of the house that they had originally presented
Right.
all went away. We're keeping within the footprint for that. There will be a phase 2 to the interiors that we're working with Wayne on, but they're not bumping the house out any further. I don't know what plan sets have gone before, but they're staying with all in the existing footprint.
Anyone else?
Just conditions, Mr. Green, you've seen the conditions?
yeah,
and
they're,
it was okay.
they're fine.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Is there anyone who'd like to speak in favor? Anyone who is opposed that would like to speak? Okay. Chair would entertain a motion that we close this public hearing. So moved.
Second?
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all is in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries 5-0. What is the board's pleasure?
Who's gonna fight to get us through this?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, with respect to project summary, 192 Ocean Road Realty Trust, Tax Assessor's Plat E Lot 132-B. Location is 192 Ocean Road. I'd like to adopt the findings of fact in the project summary dated December 7th, 2023, specifically A through G. In addition, I'd like to note that the applicant was represented tonight by Attorney Jack McGreen, who made a presentation on behalf of the applicant, indicating that the applicant is looking for relief from Section 4.4 Coastal Resources Overlay District Special Use Permit and Section 6.4 Dimensional Regulations, a 4-foot rear yard setback variance. Mr. McGreen indicated that as part of this project, site coverage, building coverage, softscape are all improving. And really the only issue here is that the 4 feet is necessary in order to locate the pool that the applicant is seeking to install. I'd note that staff noted that in the project summary that the proposed pool and spa will be over existing landscape improvements and will not encroach onto vegetated coastal features and is no closer to the feature than the existing development on the lot. The planning board reviewed the plans and supplementary documents during the planning board meeting on Wednesday, November 15th, 2023. Found the application to be complete and also found the application to be in conformance with the land use component of the comprehensive plan of Narragansett. The planning board recommended the application to the zoning board of review for approval with conditions, with a vote of 4-0 on both the completely conformance issue as well as a recommendation of approval 4-0. In addition to Mr. McGreen, we heard from Marissa Navakowskis with DeStefano, is that Stefano Brothers Builders? And she explained the project, indicating that the proposed improvements including demolition of the existing rear yard deck, a construction of a second floor open sun deck, construction of the in-ground pool, which was reduced significantly in size from an initial plan to try to meet the setback and create the least relief necessary, and also construction of associated rear patio and landscaping improvements. We also heard that they have addressed specifically the requirements of both the special use permit, section 11 and 12, as well as the overlay district requirements for variance and special use permits. Specifically that any environmentally sensitive features will be protected, and the manner in which the granting of the special use and variance will enhance the protection of these environmentally sensitive features. Again, the testimony with respect to that was that the pool is not being constructed in a place where it's going to be any closer to the environmental feature, and it's over existing landscape. And that concludes my findings of fact.
I'll second.
A motion has been made and properly seconded to enter the findings of fact into the record. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion carries 5-0.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, with respect to project summary 192 Ocean Road Realty Trust, Tax Assessor's Plat E Lot 132-B, I'd like to make a motion to grant the relief requested, specifically Section 4.4 Coastal Resources Overlay District Special Use Permit and Section 6.4 Dimensional Regulations, a 4-foot rear yard setback variance. I believe that the evidence presented tonight indicates that the requirements for these variances and special use permits has been met, or have been met, and specifically that the project and the evidence presented tonight indicates that the environmental feature of this lot will be protected as a result of the siting of the pool on the lot, as well as the remaining improvements that are being made.
Conditions.
Subject to conditions 1 through 6 of the project summary.
I'll second.
A motion has been made and properly seconded to grant the relief requested with conditions. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Great, thank you.
Good luck.
And happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Well, we got phase 2 coming for you. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Last item on the agenda this evening is DMF Realty, or Reality, LLC. I just noticed that.
Oh, yeah.
We'll take about tax assessors plat O, lot 3-A, 21 Woodruff Avenue. Good evening, Mr. Callahan.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board, good to see you tonight. James Callahan of Callahan & Callahan, 3 Brown Street. Here tonight on behalf of DMF Realty LLC. The principal of DMF Realty is Mike Flood to my right. Mike is here tonight, obviously. He operates the Flood Ford Lincoln facility at 21 Woodruff Avenue. And he's owned and operated that facility for approximately 20 years. He's become quite a staple to the community, I believe. He sponsors youth basketball in town and many other events based on personal experience. We're seeking relief here tonight in a couple of ways. First, we're seeking a special use permit to construct a new building on site to the west of the current building. The building will be an exclusive Lincoln showroom, which is, again, be in the middle of the existing parking lot. And you may ask why is this going to be an exclusive showroom? And the answer, it's a good question with a good answer, I think, because basically Lincoln is demanding that of its dealers, and Mike is one of their dealers. In a perfect world, I'm not sure Mike would do this, undertake this project, but Lincoln has a measure of control over its product and the presentation, and I think Mike wants to keep this facility going for his family. So to retain the Lincoln dealership, he needs to make certain improvements, which include the construction of the 124-foot by 56-foot building, which is shown in the site plans and elevations. And in reality, the building will replace rows of cars. So I think in that way, it's an improvement, and it's called a Lincoln Vitrine, V-I-T-R-I-N-E showroom, and vitrine means a glass cabinet or a glass case, and that's what the building sort of looks like. I have some renderings for you just to give you some perspective. So in that sense, I think that the new building would be more attractive in a lot of ways than just rows of cars. Anyone who's driven by or seen Mike's facilities knows that they're in spotless condition and in perfect order. So in a good way, this building does not trigger any dimensional relief, doesn't need any setback relief, coverage relief, height relief, nothing like that. It's just in this zone and needs a special use permit for the building itself. So we hope you find a way to approve that tonight. And we also are requesting a different kind of relief, at least in my mind. For the signage on site, we need special use permits. Because even though we're going over the required mass of the sign, it's not a dimensional variance, it's a special use permit by ordinance, which is, I think, a little different. But in any event, that's what we're asking for. So, like I said, I have a few renderings to give you a perspective. Look at the signage, and it's not, I don't think it's particularly offensive or large sign, it's just a kind of classy and lends help to Mike's business, quite frankly. The signage is a 70 square foot Lincoln sign, an 18 square foot service sign, and has a flood sign as well in the bottom right. But we hope that you approve these requests tonight as they are uses that are permitted in this zone, but they need special use from your board. So with that, I'd ask Mike to come to the podium and explain a little bit about the project.
Good evening. I never thought I'd be back up here again.
Please raise your right hand.
Oh, sorry about that.
Do you-
Mike Flood.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
Yes.
so help you God? Thank you.
James is right. I figured I'd be out of it by this point, but my kids are in the business. And the only way we can continue to sell Lincolns, right now I'm not getting all the incentives from Lincoln, so how I have to make a deal going against Tasker, which is the only Lincoln deal in the state, is I gotta put more into the people's trade, because everybody shops, shops for a new car. So it's the dollars I'm not getting, the product I'm not getting. Right now I can't sell the black label, which is like the AMG and the Mercedes, because I've been dragging my feet on this Lincoln. I was almost hoping it would go away and they'd scrap the whole program. I could go back to doing what I was doing, but that's not the case. So my feet is to the fire right now. My kids are in the business. I've got 2 boys and a girl. 2 of them up at East Greenwich and one of them's down here in Narragansett, and they want to keep the business going. I bought Sakuchi back in 2006, 5, 6, 7, somewhere in that area, and we built a good business because of it. And I just don't want to walk away from it. It's easy, I could take the money and run, but after I take the money and run, there's never going to be another Lincoln dealer back in the state. So, and I need it right now. I mean, the 2, Ford and Lincoln, is supporting the taxes, the insurance, and everything else that goes on in here. A month ago, we went to the planning board. I mean, everybody on the board was in favor for it. So, I felt good going home that they liked what they seen. But, like James said, we try to do whatever we can in the town here in Narragansett. We've been around for a while. It's a great place to do business, and, I know a lot of people down here now. But when I came to the planning board and I was coming here tonight, I said, I never thought I'd have to do this again, but here I am. But this will be the end for my property over in Narragansett, and I'm not allowed to buy anything else for my wife, so I'm gonna buy it, the kid's gonna buy it and pay me back, But I think it's gonna be real nice. I looked at a few of these out in Connecticut, Massachusetts. I mean, it's beautiful inside, the seating, the floors, it's real nice, and I think it would really be a good addition down here in Narragansett.
And Mike, for perspective purposes, I'm going to show the board and you a couple of renderings from other dealerships. Do these renderings sort of represent what it's not exact, but is what the signs will look like?
Yep.
And we'll have to have these marked at some point. But these are separate drawings or renderings.
Yes, and this one here is actually a bigger facility than what I'm doing. Mine's proposed at 6985, I think, square feet. There's no showroom. I'm going to use the showroom on the side, the Ford showroom. So we'll drive the cars through the Lincoln drive-up area, and then the porter will take it around to the east side of the building, park the car, and then when the vehicle's done, they'll bring it back over to the Lincoln side and deliver it to the customer. So I mean, there's really not going to be any more traffic. Like James said, in the town, every time I've been to a hearing, they don't want to see the cars, they want to see a pretty building. Well, now we're getting a pretty building and we're going to get less cars. So it'll be some more work for me, jockeying these cars around, but we're going to have to make it work. And there's nothing else around, and I know I can't come before you guys and girls anymore with Narragansett with another dealership here. They said no, and that was it. So the only place I can really put this Lincoln is in my parking lot in Narragansett. And there's no property in South Kingston either, because I can move it within a mile and not have to go through it. But the 20-mile radius between us and Tasker, that we're right at that. So there's no way I can bring it up to East Greenwich and have it up there or anywhere else. So the easiest spot would be to put it there. I mean, it's going to be, like I said, it's going to tie up some space. But we got to do what we got to do. If we want to stay a Lincoln dealer, that's what we're going to have to do.
Mr. Chair, will you just submit these as reference renderings? Appreciate it, thank you. And Mike, what happens if you don't construct this building on site with Lincoln?
I'll go out of business. Yeah.
And will there be any more employees, customer experience change?
Well, every new business or every new building that has all the nicer amenities in them, the experience is definitely, the CSI goes right up. I mean, but is there going to be more customers? We hope there's more customers coming in, but I mean, there's going to be no employees. What I'm doing is I'm going to have take some Ford Lincoln salespeople that are in the old building, and I'm gonna move them over. I'm gonna take the receptionist that's in the old building, move her over to the new one, and I'm gonna take a couple of advisors that are in the Ford building now and Lincoln, I'm gonna move them strictly over to Narragansett. So I'm just basically splitting it up. There might be one more employee, there might be, who knows, one less employee, but at the end of the day, I'm not adding any more, and I'm hoping the customer experience is better. You know, the Lincolns, you know, Ford's trying to segregate the Lincolns, but I said to them, the Fords are so expensive in price, some of them are more expensive than what the Lincolns are. But they're trying to give them a better experience. But I said, we give a good experience at all the places, whether it's Mazda, whether it's up in East Greenwich, or any of the car care centers that I have. So, but I think this is going to be really nice. And the ones I went to, they said that customers loved it.
And Mike, you don't need any setback relief or
No.
lot coverage relief or height relief
No.
for this project?
No.
And the sign dimensions and the signage, that's something that's required by Lincoln as well?
Yes.
And regarding this showroom and the signage, do you see that this is going to be in harmony with the comprehensive plan of Narragansett?
Yeah.
And do you think that the granted special use permit will substantially serve public interest and welfare?
Yeah.
And the showroom and the sign itself won't harm the public health and welfare, will it?
No, and I think even when you look at the grand scope of the building, with the signs that are out there, you know, on the building, when I went up to look at them at the other stores in Massachusetts, Connecticut, they weren't abundant big signs. You know, there were signs that looked like they should be on the building.
And this signage in the showroom will not injure the appropriate use of the surrounding property in any way?
No.
And it won't have any impact on air or light or solar access? And no impact on public water bodies or streams?
No.
And no impact on the conservation of energy or energy efficiency? That's all we have. Any questions, we'd be happy to discuss.
Thank you. Any questions of Mr. Ford? Or Mr. Callahan?
Mr. Callahan, how is stormwater handled on this site right now?
The drainage calculations, I believe, were...
Yeah. Where Clayton, he would have been here tonight, my builder, but he's got the flu. And I don't know if he's got COVID or what, but he called me today, he said, well, apologize. I said, don't worry.
He hasn't retired yet?
Yeah, no, I brought him out of retirement. He's doing the drip up in East Greenwich for me, a coffee shop that caught on fire, and he just got finished doing my banner at my house, so I brushed the dust off and I brought him back. Yeah. Well, the drainage that we have coming off the roof is all gonna be storm drains that go back into the detention pond that was here. There's a detention pond there and there's one here, and it's big. Yeah, I've never seen it even close to capacity, but whether it was the rainwater from the parking lot or the rainwater from the roof, we're not adding any.
I didn't think you were adding any, I just didn't know if there were any under drains or anything else that were gonna be impacted by the construction of the building at that location.
No.
Everything in that parking lot goes to that.
I figured it would, I just
Yeah.
didn't know if there were any under drains
Oh,
or
underground,
anything,
yeah.
any under drains or anything like that,
No.
John.
Yeah, they're gonna be here.
I believe at the last hearing with planning board, Clayton did testify that there are drains that go from the building under the pavement out through the, I believe that's what he said.
But that's not, that's piping.
Yes.
Correct.
That's not subterranean.
No.
Drainage.
Then
So it's
also, you know, different being Jim into the building businesses, they're gonna have the gutters where it's gonna be, I don't know the whole thing of it, but they're gonna have a gutter system that's above, so if the gutters freeze, there's gonna be another gutter that's gonna spit the water out coming down from outside the block, and then we'll know we got a problem with the gutter up top. It's like a safety feature for the gutter. It's something new that's out, which is really good. But all the calcs were all for the parking lot, that what we did the last time we had this little extension on right here, where you told me not to come back.
I don't recall anyone ever saying
He's coming again?
Well, there may have been one Dr. O'Neill,
One of the doctors, huh?
Yeah.
yes.
He was great the other day.
Anything else?
I just have one, James, all of the signage that's gonna be on this building, is that all part of Lincoln's branding requirements, the size in
Yes.
comparison to the structure or whatever?
Yeah, and what we're gonna be doing also, and I had asked Mike, and I don't know if it was Wayne at one of our meetings, we're gonna be taking the signage off the the Ford building. So every Lincoln sign that I have on that building will be coming off. And I'm just gonna have Lincoln, I'm not gonna have it on both buildings. I'll just have the Lincoln on the Lincoln, and then the Ford, just gonna have Ford branding on it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. I'd ask for proponents and proponents, but I don't know if we'll go very far. All right, Chair would entertain a motion to close this public hearing. You comfortable with the testimony we received?
So moved.
Second. Tom, you made that?
You did.
Thank you. And Tony seconded it. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion carries 5-0. What is the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, we have before us a project summary, DMF Realty LLC, Tax Assessors Plat 0, Lot 3-A, dated December 7, 2023, location Woodruff Avenue, 21 Woodruff Avenue. The applicant is requesting to construct a 120 by 50-foot automobile dealership showroom over existing asphalt parking at the above referenced property. We heard from James Callahan, the attorney for the applicant. He gave us the overall description of what's going on and stressed the fact that the building will be over existing asphalt parking lot. Speaking loud enough? You got it. As required by Lincoln. And we heard from Mike Flood, not Mike Ford. Mike Flood.
That was Ford. I have somebody else here.
He's testified that he's required to build this showroom to continue with the Lincoln dealership. This wasn't produced by Mike, but I can testify that, I can attest that his properties are well maintained and spotless.
Thank you.
He does a nice job there.
Mhm.
The building that's proposed appears to have good street appeal. The building will be, there'll be less cars, more building, let's put it that way. And he testified that there would be equal to or possibly one more or one less employees. We move people around back and forth to see where we have to make this work. The statement of if it's not built, it goes out of business, that's not a good thing. We don't like to do that here. There is no dimensional relief required or requested. And with regard to the signage, it is specified by Lincoln as size for the building and so forth. It needs to be to meet their specifications. Mike also testified that to all the standards that needed to be met, we're in accordance with all of those. We had no one in the audience, so we had no proponents or no opponents. So for a statement, I'd like to include the findings of fact identified on this project summary, December 7th, as a portion of ours, including what I had just spoke to. The planning board has received the information and voted for 4-0 to be complete in conformance, and 3-1 recommendation for approval.
Well,
Yeah, there's a revision here, yeah, hang on a second.
they approved the building, and they would not,
Not the signage.
they did
Well,
not
they
like
did-
the signage,
They
believe
liked
it
it,
or
but
not.
they did approve it overall. So for the signage, it was 4-0 for complete conformance and recommendation for denial, excuse me, it was denial. concludes my findings of fact.
I'll second.
A motion has been made and properly seconded to enter the findings of fact into the record. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion carries 5-0.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, with the same project summary, DMF Realty LLC, tax assessor plat O, lot 3-A, dated December 7, 2023. My motion is to grant the relief requested from section 6.1, table of use regulations, use code 551, motor vehicle or trailer dealers only, by special use permit for the amendments to the previously granted relief, and section 7.18, signs by special use permit. Amendments, Joe? Do you have to read those?
No.
No.
No, just the conditions, Renee.
And, yep, so conditions were on 1 through 3. 1 through 3.
I'll second that.
A motion has been made and properly seconded to grant the relief requested with conditions. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Good luck.
I'll stay in business if anybody is. Thank you for everything, really appreciate it. Love doing business with you guys down here in Narragansett. Hey, I seem like we're friends forever. Thank you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
That's sailing ship right there.
Anybody wants a new car for Christmas? He's got my cell number. 413-3400. Thanks, Mike.
Take care. We're going to put that one on the record.
Let's get him back in here, and we all gonna get a deal.
Jill, do you have anything for us?
No, Mr. Chairman, not this month.
Wow. That's a Christmas gift.
They, so just as a quick update, the town council had their public hearing and their first reading on December 4th. Their second reading will be on Monday, presuming everything goes according to plan. Your new standards will be in place come January 1.
So we'll receive new books?
You will not receive a new book, I don't
A new
think.
template?
You'll get the ordinance and like the last half dozen ordinances, and we'll try to piece it together from there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we're gonna play it by ear, because there's some that are applications that are complete, that you're gonna be under the old rules.
So, yeah, how's that working?
Well, if it's totally complete, it's under the old rules.
Okay.
And I believe, I'm waiting for Mark to give the finalization, but if something is in the system, whether it's not complete or not, we would go under the old rules. However, the applicant may not want that, because this is the one time where the new rules are more advantageous to the applicant. So it's almost got to be these guys are obligated to review something up until the 31st under the current law. But if I was any applicant, I would, request a re-review, next year. But there's going to be some overlap.
Can applicants withdraw their application and then refile it on January 2nd?
If I was an attorney for the applicant, I would. I mean, you'd
See how I
go to the
think?
back of the line, but.
I mean, does the re-review request, is that effective? Without?
Well, no, I mean, I'd have to withdraw. I mean, you'd have to
refile.
Okay.
Redraw and refile. But until it's docketed and heard, you can do that. You have a new filing fee.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
Not for me, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Good. All right, well.
Move your drink.
It's good.
Move your drink.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.